there, my name is Christina and I am an animal health technology student attending Olds College, and today I will be talking to you about whether or not the raw food diet is really the best option to feed our pets with. First off, I will be talking about why the raw food diet is so popular and why it is being recommended. Then I will also be talking about a disease that can be caused in young puppies that are fed a raw food diet. I will also talk about the risk of salmonella poisoning when dogs are fed a raw food diet. And finally, I will be giving my opinion on whether or not I feel that the raw food diet is really the best option for our pets. Why are raw food diets so popular? The main argument supporting why raw food diets should be fed to our dogs is that our dogs are derived from wolves, their ancestors. Now, although this may be true and the DNA between dogs and wolves are quite similar, there are also quite a few differences between the two DNAs. Now, I've put up a picture of a Shih Tzu compared to a wolf, and we can see that there are quite a few physical differences between the two, let alone the DNA differences. Now, the reason why people are saying our dogs should be fed raw food is because wolves eat raw food and they have no means to have cooked food. Now, this is the only factor supporting why pets should be fed a raw diet, and there is no scientific evidence supporting that a raw food diet is really the best option to feed for our pets. There is a disease that can be caused in young puppies that are fed a raw food diet called rickets. Now, rickets is a disease where the bones of puppies do not grow properly due to the lack of calcium to phosphorus ratio in diets. Now, there have been some evidence showing that raw food diets are not balanced properly in the calcium to phosphorus ratio, and there have been some puppies that have had this bone malformation rickets due to them feeding a raw food diet. So we always need to make sure that our puppies are receiving a well-balanced meal to ensure that they will grow properly into a very healthy adult dog. Another risk when feeding a raw diet is salmonella poisoning. Now, I don't know about you, but when I'm handling raw meat in the kitchen, I'm very diligent to make sure that I'm not touching too much, and if I do touch things, that I wipe them down thoroughly to prevent contaminating the household with salmonella. Now, when our dogs are fed raw food, they don't go and clean up after themselves and wipe off their mouths to make sure that there is no trace of that raw meat left. They just eat and they're happy and away they go. Now, because raw meat has a risk of carrying salmonella, you are also having that risk of that dog bringing salmonella around the house, so that salmonella can still stay in their mouth. So if they lick you or lick other people, they're bringing the risk that they're giving those people that salmonella poisoning. Also, when we bring our pets to dog parks and stuff, there is a risk that salmonella is in the stool as well. So you're not only at risk for contaminating your own household, but contaminating others that frequent the dog park and other pets as well. So just keep that in mind when feeding a raw food diet, that salmonella poisoning is a very high risk when handling raw meat. There was also a study done stating that after raw food was placed in a pet bowl and the pet bowl was empty, that soaked it in bleach solution for 10 minutes and then put it through a dishwasher, 67% of the bowls that were swabbed tested positive for salmonella poisoning. Now, that is a very high number and a little scary knowing that salmonella is such a high risk when feeding a raw food diet. There are 3 types of people that are at risk for salmonella poisoning. Now, young babies are one of those, elderly, and immunocompromised people. So it is very important to know that if you have these 3 types of people in your household, to either not try and feed a raw food diet or be very, very diligent when doing so, just because these people are at higher risk of getting contaminated with salmonella poisoning compared to what a healthy adult would be. And finally, is the raw food diet really the best option for our pets? In my opinion, it is not, for the pure fact that there is no scientific evidence supporting that raw food diets should be fed, just stating that because our pets are derived from wolves, that it's a good idea that they eat raw food. There's also the risk that these foods aren't balanced, and sometimes our puppies can get that rickets disease because of the calcium to phosphorus ratio not being well balanced. So we want our puppies and our dogs to grow up young, healthy, and if there is not that proper balance, we are risking the health of our own dogs, which is not really a super great idea. So in my personal opinion, raw food is not a good option. I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation, and if you do have any other questions, feel free to ask me. Thanks so much.